I spent like a month binging fuckloads of romance anime back in 2015 when I did my 6 things I want from anime romance video. This looks like it's probably just everything that had the tag romance in it on Mal or something that was like above a certain threshold of viewers, because there's a lot of slant romance in here, you know, like stuff I wouldn't necessarily consider romance. We've got S, A, B, C, D. I think we're going to need at least a couple extra rows here. One for shit and one for haven't seen, because I'm sure I haven't seen a considerable number of these. Ooh, I fucking put... What the hell happened here? Okay, so I renamed the D tier to shit on accident, and then I didn't quite do this one. This should be shit, and it should be blue. Alright, we're ready to go. I haven't seen more than one episode of Ayori Ayoshi. Nana is A tier. Very fucking cutting drama. I wouldn't say that romance is romance is pretty prominent in the show, but it's a caught in a bad romance, that's for sure. I saw the first half of the first season of Nodame Cantabile. Yes, I'm actually pronouncing it correctly for the first time in my life, and I had enjoyed it. Never got around to the rest. I would probably put it in B tier, but I'll have to rewatch it to be sure. I think this is Mai Sonikoku. I have not seen any of it. Kimi ni Toroke, man, is this split into 2 seasons? Because that would be helpful. Because I enjoyed the first season. I would probably put it at B tier. It was a solid, fun rom-com. The second season was torture. It was like one of those where everything just kind of ground to a halt, and it was really obnoxious until like the last 3 or 4 episodes. So we're just going to say that this is B tier, because ultimately I still would say that I enjoyed the show, but the second season is abysmal for the most part. I'm not even sure what this one is. Maybe I would be able to if it hadn't gotten cut off, but the characters don't look familiar. Suzuka, I never watched any of this because I had seen little bits and pieces of it on Funimation Network way back, and it looked totally uninteresting to me. Zero no Tsukaima, I like quite a bit, actually. I think the characters are a lot of fun. I dig the poppy aesthetic of the show. The first season is a blast. The second season, I had made it about halfway through, and I just kind of didn't end up continuing. But I think it's at least a B-tier show. Shakugan no Shana is shit. I've talked about it plenty. Cross Game, I have not seen. Toradora would go in the S tier. One of my favorite romance shows. The characters are just really endearing. Their relationships are, it has a lot of what I want from anime romance. I like that the characters have something sincerely to offer one another, that it's more than just that they're in love with each other, but that they can really help each other through their lives, that they're both people who really needed that other person to fill in what was missing. Karekano, S tier, one of my favorite anime. I've talked about it plenty. Voices of a Distant Star, I would put in, honestly, D tier. I mean, it's got an interesting premise, but it's totally unmemorable aside from that, and the fact that it was made by one guy. Whoa, Makoto Shinkai, what a fucking genius. And not knocking his accomplishment, it's just annoying. I think this is Chobits, from what little I can make out of the picture. I only seen the first episode of the anime. I just kind of dropped it because I figured the manga was better. Since I've read the first volume of that, but we'll mark it as haven't seen. Oreimo, I'm going to put it in C tier. I honestly do like the first 3 episodes of Oreimo, but after that point, it becomes really rocky, and, the second season is kind of caution, do not enter. Have never seen any of Kaicho wa Maid-sama. Bakuman, I would not call a romance anime at all. I think that's a real stretch. There is like the lightest amount of romance that is kind of like the backbone of the series in a way. Like, I mean, like the main character is fighting for a relationship, but basically that relationship is just the end goal of the story, and nothing about it is really about, like, the relationship develops in the background lightly throughout the series, but it is by no means a focus. I would mark it as haven't seen, as I haven't seen the anime version, but I also would say it's not a romance. Ghost Sick, I also don't know if it should be considered a romance. It's more of a murder mystery. We'll just mark it as haven't seen and move along. Boku wa Tomodachi ga Sukunai is sort of a rom-com harem show. It's okay. I made it halfway through. I thought the character designs were really nice, but they were drawn like shit in almost every scene, so we'll mark it as a D. Rec, been a very long time since I've seen it, but I enjoyed it quite a bit when I did watch it. I'll put it at a B. Ooh, this show, Natsuyuki Rendezvous, I've only seen the first couple episodes of, but I did think they were great. I would love to finish this show. I really should have by now, but you know, I could say that about a lot of shows. I haven't seen Kokoro Connect, which I think that is. This doesn't even look familiar to me. Tonari no Kaibutsu-kun, I think I avoided this just because the general consensus I heard was, you know, it's pretty average rom-com material. So I was like, well, I don't need another average rom-com in my life. Haven't seen Kimagure Orange Road past the first episode. The Pet Girl of Sakura. So I watched the first 4 of this. This is one of those shows that I kind of felt like I wanted to enjoy. There's this one girl with big tits who's really hot, and I like her. But otherwise, this show is just kind of, I don't know, the attitude of it doesn't resonate with me. I think I'd put it in D tier. Chunibyo, I've seen a couple episodes. The problem with Chunibyo with me is that I don't find it funny. Like, I just find it kind of cloying, a little obnoxious. Like, I appreciate that it's trying to be cute, but it's cute in such a generic way that is no different from how every other early KyoAni show or everyone from this director is, that, like, I don't know, it has no effectiveness for me. I'm just gonna mark it as haven't seen because I haven't seen much of it. Oh boy, love comedy. You all know how I feel about this one from the sitting around watching video from years back. I do not enjoy it at all. I would put it in D tier. F, A Tale of Memories, at one point my favorite anime. I like it a lot, though not as much as I did back then. I would probably put it, I think I'd still put it at A tier, because I definitely like it more than the other shows in this category, and I think I like it as much as Nana. I got a video about it somewhere. This one does not look familiar to me, so that's going in haven't seen. I've only seen the first 3 episodes of Golden Time. It seemed enjoyable enough. It's from the same author as Toradora. The anime adaptation is not as well crafted, but I could still see giving it a shot and watching the rest, so we'll mark it as haven't seen. The Wind Rises, interesting to consider as a romance movie, but there is a heavy romance element, and it breaks my fucking heart. It's also one of my favorite movies of all time, so it's going in the S tier. Ocean Waves. I haven't seen this in a super long time. This is supposed to be the next Ghibli cast, assuming that ever happens. And at the time I watched it, I gave it a straight 10, but I don't know how it would be now. So I'm just going to mark it as an A based on my past feelings, but it's impossible for me to determine how I would feel now. It was a very long time ago. I haven't seen Touch. Nagi no Asukara. I didn't care for the show at all. I have a video somewhere explaining why, but I think I'd put it at, I almost want to say C tier, because it's not like, I definitely don't think it's bad, but I don't know. It's not really any better than the other shit that's in D tier. White Album 2, this show I made it like, this is a 12 episode show that I made it like 9 episodes into and dropped. Because I don't like this type of love triangle show. I don't like love triangle shows because I feel like it inevitably forces a lot of emo melodrama that I don't enjoy, and I'd rather just see the characters be happy or find a solution than mope around for episodes on end. I put it in C tier. It's fine. This is not for me. Canon, I would also put in C tier. Enjoyed it a lot when I was younger. Tried to revisit it later and was like, well, this show's pretty stupid, but it's fine. There's nothing wrong with it. It's not offensive. It's just fine. Fucking Spice and Wolf, great fucking show. I think I'd put it in A tier. Been forever since I've seen it though. Ano Natsu de Mateiru. This is another one that I would say, like, I wanted to like it because it has some cute girls in it, and I think it's well made, but it just wasn't doing anything for me. Too much melodrama. I'm going to put it in D tier. This looks just like Nagi no Asukara. Is this Glasslip? Was Glasslip a romance? Did anybody make it through this show? I don't think anybody made it through Glasslip. I'm pretty confident I could put it in shit tier. This is the one Bokura wa Minna Kawaiso? Is that what this one was called? There's a lot to like about this show. Great visual aesthetic, some pretty funny moments. I just thought that the characters weren't that interesting. Like they're all pretty one-dimensional. There wasn't enough development in the romance in the part of the show that I watched, which I think was like half maybe. So I think I'd put this one in C tier. I did like it more than the other stuff that's in D tier, but and I could see finishing it. It was just kind of a case of like, you know, I was doing finish or fail, and it wasn't enough to make the cut. Ao Haru Ride. I only saw the first 2 episodes of this. It seemed pretty generic. It seemed fine, but I'll just mark it as haven't seen. I didn't watch much. Nozaki-kun. I enjoyed a lot. I would at least put it in B tier. It's a great comedy. Memorable characters, some really good jokes. Maybe I'd even put it in A tier. I mean, honestly, on this list, the difference between A tier and B tier is not so that. No, we'll put it in A tier. Yeah, I'm thinking about it. It's definitely a lot funnier than Zero no Tsukaima, and it's not frustrating like this show became. Nodame Cantabile is hard for me to judge because it's been forever. Same with Rec. So, Your Lie in April. I've only seen the first episode. I hated everything about it. It just seemed like the ultimate melodramatic cry porn show that I was inevitably going to hate, but we'll mark it as haven't seen, to be fair. This one I have not seen any of. My Love Story. I only made it a few episodes into this. There were things that bothered me about it that I think I mentioned in the 6 Things I Want from Anime Romance video. I heard that some of my problems with it are kind of rectified later. I would be willing to give this show another shot. I thought it was just a little cloying for my tastes, but the fact that I like Best Friend Guy so much does kind of make me want to finish it, and the fact that this girl wants to fuck. So we'll just mark it as haven't seen for now. Uran High School Host Club, really fucking solid show. I'd put it in the A tier. Just strong characterization, amazing visual aesthetic, good old bones from the mid-2000s. Plastic Memories, I only saw the first 3 episodes of. This is another one that was like a little too cry porn for my taste. I'm not going to mark it as seen. Yamada-kun and the Seven Witches. I enjoyed this show quite a bit. I would put it in the A tier. It was unexpected. It seems like a fairly generic high school rom-com, but there's superpowers involved, and they get pretty creative and are used pretty extensively to create an interesting plot. I will say that the anime crams like half of a longer manga into one season, and it moves ridiculously fast, but I kind of like that about it. Honey and Clover, also A tier. Another fantastic, more adult drama, not as heart-crushing as Nana, but still has its moments of some pretty hardcore feels, and it's just well made all around. Never saw Romeo x Juliet because it looks like shit. Have not seen the original Fruits Basket. I've never seen the anime of Mysterious Girlfriend X. I read a bunch of the manga. I did a video about it, but haven't seen the anime at all. Sasameki Koto, I only saw the first episode. Would like to watch more. Bigata HK, I would put in the B tier. It's a solidly entertaining show with some real funny moments. A little bit hit or miss, but I really appreciate the raunchiness of it. Bakemonogatari, I would put in the A tier. God, I kind of feel like with Karekano and The Wind Rises being an S tier, like I have to drop Toradora down because it's definitely not as good as either of those shows. And I can't, like, on the one hand, I think Bakemonogatari I probably like at least as much as Toradora. It's not as emotionally gratifying as Toradora, but it's more interesting. But neither one do I like as much as these two shows. So we're going to keep them in the A tier, but they're like the kings of the A tier. They're like at the top of the A tier for sure. This is actually kind of difficult. Like I kind of want to put them both. Neither one I don't think should be in my S tier if these two are in it, but they're both above all this. So just keep that in mind. But yeah, I mean, I've talked about Monogatari plenty. I can't understand what my husband is saying. Also, A tier. I love that fucking show. Very short episodes, super sweet. Love the couple. Love their whole history. I've only seen the first few episodes of Lovely Complex. I think that's what this is. I'm interested in watching more. It never quite grabbed me, but I wasn't sure why, and I'm still interested in finding out. Maybe I'll try to watch it with May, and maybe she'll help me to understand. Koto Ura-san, this show has an amazing first episode, a pretty good second episode, and then it quickly drops off and gets uninteresting. So we're going to mark it as probably a D, ultimately. Nisekoi, I dropped after one episode, so we'll just say I haven't watched it. Akagami no Shirayuki Hime, actually really solid as a romance show. I'm going to put it in A. I thought, when I watched the first season, I gave it like a 7 out of 10 because I thought it's not really anything special necessarily. It doesn't have any moments that like blow my mind, but I just like the tone of the series so much. I love the feel of it, the look of it. I like all the characters. I like how I like how people interact in that show. Everybody's just so good-natured and nice, and it feels good. When I rewatched it, I enjoyed it even more, so that's a good sign. Whisper of the Heart, I still haven't seen. It's the only Ghibli movie, I think. Well, definitely the only Miyazaki I still haven't seen. I also haven't seen My Neighbors the Yamadas, but those are the only two Ghiblis I think that I haven't seen yet. I know, it's a fucking crime. Oh, man, I fucking love this show. Momokura? Is that what it was? Momokura? Whatever it is, I fucking love it. Super adorable kids having a super cute romance. I love that the characters are hooked up right from the beginning, and it's more about the problems of the dishonesty in their relationship. Played very lightheartedly and for laughs, but it's a good time. I have not seen the sister fucking show, but I have seen all of the sex scenes. That's for sure. Chivalry of a Failed Knight, I would put it at a C. It's a lot better than it really has any right to be just because the characters actually hook up in episode 4 and their relationship actually develops, so I kind of care about them. But everything else about the show is, generic as hell. I'm not even sure what the hell this one is. This does not look familiar to me. Kisniver. I would not consider this a romance at all. I don't remember there being any romance in this show, but I would give it a B. I enjoyed it. It was fine. It was a fun time. Oh, Dokyusei, definitely an A. Easily the best gay romance that I've ever seen in anime. Phenomenal animation direction. Super expressive characters, just all around fucking beautifully crafted movie. Probably the best thing A1 Pictures has ever done. Even if a lot of the animators were apparently from Trigger. Netto Gay, I only watched the first episode of this. I know May watched the whole thing. She basically said it's as trashy as I would expect. 5 centimeters per second. There was a time when I did really like this movie, but returning to it, I have completely lost all affection for it. I think it is overrated as hell. It's fairly trite. It's very boring. The dialogue sucks. I'm still going to put it at C tier because I think it has some merit. I think it still has some feels pulling, but ultimately not an incredible film. Is this The Garden of Words? I had also put The Garden of Words at C tier. I mean, it was probably like my favorite Makoto Shinkai just because it was the one that felt the most like an actual movie. And it was legitimately gorgeous. But, there's nothing that memorable about it other than just the fetishistic detail. I haven't watched much of Apollon. I would like to. Orange, I dropped after the first 2 episodes because I just couldn't stand the tone of it. Real Life, I actually enjoyed this a good bit. I think I'd put it at a B. It's fairly standard. The main interesting thing about it was sort of the gimmick that the main character is he's 10 years out of high school, but he's put back into his high school body to relive that time. It was a fun show. I don't have any complaints. There's just nothing that stands out about it to sort of, I would put it on the same level as Begot to HK, Masamune-kun's Revenge, I would put it a C. I managed to watch the whole thing. It was fine, but it really just coasted on the strength of the first episode and the conceit of the show, which it didn't really do that much with. Scum's Wish, I hated, famously made a video about it. I think I would probably put it in shit tier. I really fucking hated that show. Skip Beat, I only saw the first episode of this, I think. I did enjoy it, but I did not continue it because I knew it was only going to be 10 episodes and it was a long-running manga. Isn't this that one, Shukufuku no Campanella or something? Or The End of the World? I don't remember what the fuck this one was called, but I did not know this was a romance show. I'm going to mark it as haven't seen, even though I dropped it after 7 minutes. This doesn't look familiar to me. Yeah, I'm not sure what that is. I think this is Kimi to Boku, no. Was that what it was called? No, that's that one with all the cute boys doing cute things show. It has a similar name to that. This one I just thought was really boring, and I hated all the fucking CG pedestrians that were on screen constantly. I would put it at a D tier, if it's the thing I remember, whose name is slipping my mind. School Days! I only saw the first couple episodes of School Days, but I have a hella respect for School Days. I think it is a really interesting show, just from what I know about it. But we'll mark it as haven't seen. I can't make a good quality judgment. Oh, Arrow Manga Sensei, definitely shit tier. Probably the outright worst thing on this list, if not Glass Lip. I did a whole thing with Best Guy Ever. You've all heard me talk about it. Is this that Kaguya-sama show, or is this something else? No, this is that one. Fuck. This was the one. I know I watched an episode of this and dropped it. But it was the one where there was mandatory love or something like that. The government had mandated that characters date. It was some weird shit. I'm putting it at a shit tier because I dropped it in one episode and I've already completely forgotten it. Oh, this is, I think, Surezure Friends. I totally forgot about this show, but I did enjoy it. So I'm going to put it at a B. I remember having a good time watching it, but it definitely left no impact on me. I think this is Gamers, which I dropped after the first episode. Other people have said it's good. I don't believe them. I'm putting it in haven't seen. Your Name, pretty good movie. I'd put it at a B. It's enjoyable. It's a fun fucking time. It's a good summer blockbuster. What is this? Mesume Susume? I don't recognize it. Koi wa Amae Gare no Yoni, I would put at a B tier. I really appreciate the aesthetic, the general concept of the show, but I was a little bit let down by just the amount of progress made in the story, just the fact that it got a little rockier as it went along. It was overall a good time, though. This doesn't look familiar to me at all. Ooh, the Tamako Market movie. I would put this at a B. I enjoyed the actual show more than the movie. The movie was just a little more melodramatic than I would have liked. Funnily enough, High Score Girl, this is such a difficult one. I ended up dropping this show, and I think I might owe it to myself to go back and finish it, because I really loved the first 3 episodes. I loved the characters, I loved their interactions, I loved their relationships, and then basically the girl leaves the show, and this other girl comes in who I didn't like at all, and there's 3 straight episodes where the main girl is not really present. And then when she finally comes back, it's kind of like she's slowly making her way back into the show. And it just feels like the progress was lost from those first 3 episodes. I have been assured that it does pick back up and that it will have some sort of resolution in the OVAs. I'll probably give it a second look, because for now I'm going to put it at like a strong C to a light B, but it has a chance that it could work its way back up to a B for all I know. Wotakoi, I watched the first episode and really hated it. I think I'd probably put it at shit. Bunny Girl Senpai, I watched the first episode and really hated it. Started up the second episode. Like, we tried to watch 2, but we couldn't make it through the second one. So that's going in shit tier. I know a lot of you guys love that show. I don't understand why. Before you leave a comment about Bunny Girl Senpai, just go make a video about it. Go make a video about why it's good, because I don't believe you unless you can prove it. You better do a good fucking job, because I'm never going to believe that that show's good until somebody can explain to me what you see in it, because to me it is the epitome of trash. Okay, what the hell is this one? I think this is Kase-san in Morning Glories. If I'm correct, I thought it was just okay. It was kind of boring. I'd put it at a C tier. It was not memorable to me. Clannad, you know, I still haven't seen most of After Story, and people shit on me for that. Clannad is just okay. I don't even hate it. I think it's fine. I'd put it at a C tier. It's fine. This one, Takagi-san, I didn't even finish the first episode. I was like, say, haven't seen. Inuyasha is being considered a romance. I can't score Inuyasha. I don't know what to score it. I'm pretty sure it's mostly shit. I was really into it as a kid. I'm going to put it at a C. Why not? That's probably appropriate. What the hell is this? Is this Sankareya? I did not watch any of the anime of Sankareya. I read a little of the manga. Bloom Into You. Man, I wanted to love this because I did enjoy the manga. And the anime looks great. But I couldn't make it past the atmosphere. I talked about it in Finish or Fail. I'm just going to say I haven't seen it because I can't make a fair judgment. This fucking thing, Kaguya-sama, same story with Bunny Girl. I appreciate that some of you really love this show. I would say make an analysis video, but Econ already did it, and it's 16 minutes long, and I've been churning my guts over whether I want to sit through it, but I probably have to hear why people like the show. But I fucking reviled the first episode of this. I got nothing out of it. I thought it was super dumb, super obnoxious, and super boring. But you know, so it's going in shit tier because I'm definitely not watching more of it, but I will at least check out Econ's video. And Ranma 1/2, in good conscience, I have to put it in B tier. At its best, it would be in A tier. And Ranma has a lot of great episodes, and I made a whole episode guide for it way back on my blog. There's a lot of Ranma I would consider worth watching. There's a lot of Ranma that you should never watch because it's fucking terrible. But, you know, I still overall really appreciate the show. I put it at B tier. So, yeah, there you go. There's my completed anime romance chart based on whatever. I mean, several people sent me romance charts. This was just the one that had the most. So that's what I'm going with. And there you go. There you have it.